Hey GlamFam, Linwood here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do a French roll like this. This is a classic French roll. It's excellent for cosmetology students, and part of the reason why is because I'm going to be showing you how to create this type of style with no stuffing, with just teasing. I'm going to show you how to hide your pins so they're not visible, the difference between your types of pins, and how to make sure she can dance in this all night long without it coming down. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stay tuned, and I will catch you on the flip side. By the way, if you haven't scooped up your GlamFam merch, check out down in the description box below where you can get shirts, masks, tights, hoodies, all that fun stuff, even mugs. So yeah, if you're interested, check out down below. Let's dive right in. Okay, so we're gonna begin on clean, freshly prepped hair. It does not have to be curled. It can just be blown out. That's the one thing I love about French rolls is you really don't have to do a ton of prep for them. I'm gonna be using two different types of pins. The first of which is a bobby pin like this. These are closed. Bobby pins are for security, so they create a lot of security in your style. And I'm also going to be using hairpins like these here. Hairpins are open. These are more so for placement. So closed is for security, open is for placement. Now I'm gonna go ahead and begin on this head of hair here, and we're just going to start. You can see I've already got these curls in here. We're just gonna start in the top of the head. So I'm gonna come around the top, around the parietal ridge area. So we're starting around the brow area here, and I'm just gonna come to about the top of the crown, just behind the apex of the head, which the apex is the highest point on the head. And from there, I'm going to come around to the other side. We're going to angle a little bit more to the right here. So you can kind of see the section that I have parted off. I'm going to go ahead and have this be the focal area of my style here. So I'm going to just pin this part out of the way for now, and then I'll show you on the remainder. Okay, so now that I have that clipped out of the way, and the reason why I did that is because it's going to create a bit of height in the style. Now that I have that clipped out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and create some volume and some hold throughout the style by adding a little bit of teasing. Now there is a way for you to do this without the teasing. I'll show that on a later video where you're doing it with stuffing, but I want to show you guys the fundamentals of hairstyling here. So this is going to be a little bit more honestly challenging for some and a little easier for others depending on what your skill set is. So I'm going to go ahead and part down the center of the head like this here, and I'm going to end up bringing the hair to the left over here eventually. So I want to keep that in mind as I'm teasing. So I'm just going to part down the center, and I'm going to take my comb and begin to back comb this hair a little bit. Now you don't have to get crazy. Everyone always does this way too much, but I'm gonna back comb just on the back side of the section. Now the reason why I'm doing it on the back side of the section is so it still looks fairly smooth on the front versus on the back. You can see all of the teasing and things under there. Now I'm using a standard comb here. You can also use a teasing comb like this here, and I don't know if you can see those little bitty grippers in there. They create a lot more hold in the comb. And then the end of this is for like lifting or smoothing out the hair. When you're finished, you would just kind of lightly glaze over that. We'll get there. I'm gonna take this hair and we're just gonna continue to pick it up in sections, teasing on the back side of my section here. Now I'm teasing down some, but I'm honestly doing a light tease because I want it to fill out and I want it to create some body in the style. I don't want it to be something to where it's going to be a pain to take out later. So I'm just lightly teasing the hair, again, just to create some texture and some hold to the style. Now, it looks like I'm going in and combing that back out. Trust me when I tell you it's still there. But what I'm doing is, instead of me just taking the teeth and placing them directly into the hair like this, I'm glazing the back of the hair or grazing the back of the hair like this here. This way it allows me to smooth without combing that teasing out underneath. So it'll look like the teasing's not there, but it's still very much underneath. And that's from me just lightly grazing over the top surface of the hair. See how smooth that looks? That's what I'm looking for there. But underneath there, all that teasing is still in place. So I'm gonna do just a little bit more. When I come close to the hairline, we're just gonna do it even more lightly. So just lightly, lightly, lightly. Okay? And then we're just smoothing over the top surface. As we get up here, we're gonna pick some of that hair out. And this is honestly a good time for me to use that teasing comb. So look. And then just bring it on back. I'm gonna leave just a small amount of hair out, so look, just little wispies. And honestly, I feel like that's even too much. So what I'm gonna do, let me turn it so y'all can see. I'm gonna just take and pinch just little bitty sections of hair. Anytime you're leaving hair out, just keep in mind, less is more. Like little pieces of hair like that is more flirty. About as much hair as you wanna leave out is like bigger sections like this here. You don't really want to leave out these big old pieces like this because it ends up looking like antennae or antennas in the hair. So just lightly teasing just to give some texture and bringing it back. I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side and then we'll come back. Okay, so once we've gone through that, her hair looks like this here, which is a hot mess. I think we can all agree on that. It's not really her best day, but we'll get there. We'll get where we need to go. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and take out this top section that I parted off at first. And instead of me taking it at the same angle that I took everything else at, I'm going to go ahead and begin to tease this heading back. So we're gonna just create some volume up in the top. And so here I'm gonna do a bit more teasing. We're starting a little heavier into this area up here. So let me tilt forward so you can see a lot more texture in through this area here. So that way we're creating a lot more cushion for that hair to rest on. And this is honestly just to create some body up in the top of the head. So we're gonna just bring that hair on back, creating some texture just for that hair to lay on and rest on. Now the benefit of doing like stuffing over teasing like this is for really fragile hair, like hair that's been bleached or relaxed, or for incredibly fine hair. It prevents you from having to go through quite as much in the takedown in terms of manipulation, so you're less prone to breakage. With normal to coarse hair, this is not enough teasing or a heavy enough tease to even create issue with breakage. So you guys can see like this is building a lot of body, but we're gonna do quite a bit of smoothing so we don't have to worry too much about that body feeling like way too much going on, okay? So now that we've done that and the mannequin looks like an utter monstrosity, we're going to go in and begin smoothing and turning this into something. I bet you never thought a French roll would start out this way, but just be patient with me. She's getting somewhere. I'm gonna go ahead and pick out another piece here. So you can see how easily that slid out despite me doing my teasing. So I still have my few little pieces here, my couple little pieces up underneath here. So like those are still remaining outside of the hair, okay? So now I'm gonna go in, and you can use a nylon bristle brush. I'm gonna be using a smoothing brush by Aquage. You do have to work a lot lighter with these just because of the fact that it has the longer bristles, but I do like this brush to work with. So from here, I'm gonna begin to smooth over the outside surface only of that hair. So we begin to just lightly smooth, lightly smooth. Okay, so you can see here we've created that smoothness. You see how easily that smoothed out? Now from there, I'm gonna turn here and we're gonna begin to place these closed bobby pins in the hair. So I'm gonna bring her forward some. And let me see if I can zoom you in a little bit because I want you to see exactly what I'm doing. So we're bringing everything over to the side. We're gonna go ahead and take our pin and we just slide that up into the hair. Notice I'm not using my mouth to open those because it's really unsanitary. Last thing we want is my saliva in anybody's head. And I'm just gonna begin to bring another bobby pin up and we're gonna crisscross those like an X. And I'm just gonna continue up the back of the head like that. So we got that one. I'm gonna grab another bobby pin. Remember the bobby pins are closed for security. Slide that up in there. Coming up the other way. Sliding that up into that. And we're just gonna do this up to about the parietal ridge area. So once I start getting up here towards the parietal ridge, instead of facing my pins upward, I'm gonna begin to face them downward. That way I don't have to worry about the tips of the pins sticking out of the top of the roll. So I'm gonna begin to place in a downward fashion like this here. So you can see we created a good degree of cushion, like that's all teasing underneath there. That's creating that cushion, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna come onto the other side because it still looks like, Lord, what happened on that side, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and begin to lightly smooth over here as well. Now remember, the key word here is lightly. We don't want to get into smoothing so much that we take out every bit of teasing we put back in there, because honestly, the job of the teasing is not just to create some cushion for longevity, but it's to create some volume, and it's to give that hair something to rest on, so that way while they're dancing, things like that, this style stays. So like old school comb outs, things like that, those Audrey Hepburn styles that used to be super popular back in the day, those are the things that we used to see held together with teasing. Now I'm coming around to the front here, and you can see how we've created some height. Let me tilt you up a little bit. See how we've created some height up here? That's through that teasing as well. But I can still see a bit of that teasing in place up here, right? Let me see here. There we go. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna lightly, this is with the lifting side of the comb, we're just gonna lightly graze over the surface. I don't want to remove that teasing. I just wanna make it less visible. So we're just lightly grazing over the surface of the hair, and if I feel like I'm losing any volume, that's when I can go in and begin to lift that back up and let the teasing underneath do its job. See how we're beginning to smooth that hair out? That's what we're looking to do. We're looking to smooth it out so you don't even notice the teasing is underneath there. It's one of those things where it's like, I want to know it's there, but I don't want to see it. It's like underwear. It's great that you have them on, but we don't need to see that, okay? So now that we've got that taken care of, we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna bring it around to the back. I'm kind of liking this little fall here, that's cute. Okay, so let's bring her on back. You can already see the shaping up in the front, huh? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and bring it right on around here. Remember, we still have our flow here, and I'm just gonna lightly smooth this top portion of the hair there, okay? So now that I have that, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this hair, and we're going to lightly smooth just the ends of this hair out. Again, I'm not looking to get rid of that teasing underneath there. It's gonna be so hard to fight the urge to remove the teasing, but you really don't wanna do that. Okay, I know I put that comb up there. It's not something you would typically do on a live client. I just don't have a ton of working space in my studio here, so. We're gonna go ahead, take that hair just like so. We're gonna place all of this hair in my hands, and as we twist, we're going to begin to lift up. So we twist and lift, just like this here. Now I'm seeing some bumpiness that I'm not liking, so I'm gonna go in and just lightly smooth just a bit more over the outer surface of the hair. Again, key word here is lightly, lightly smooth. Look at the difference we're seeing already, okay? This is from a light smoothing. You don't want to take your brush through there so heavy that you're taking everything back out of the hair. Okay, so now we've got everything nice and smooth. We're gonna bring this hair, turn it inward. So just take your palm and place it outward. I'm gonna place my thumb over the hair like this. We're gonna turn that hair, and as I turn, I'm gonna just pull up. So that way it's nice and snug here. If you don't pull up, it's gonna be open on the bottom. So we wanna pull upwards, okay? And then as I do that, I'm going to take my hairpins, and we're going to place into the French roll and slide inward, and then place it up underneath our X's there. So see if I can move closer so that way you can see clearly. We went ahead and turned it, brought it up, placed into the roll, going straight in like this. Grip the hair underneath, and then slide up underneath your X's. I'm gonna push in deep enough to where you can't see my pins. Okay, so you can kind of see this roll taking place here. I know it looks a little frizzy and flyaway, but a lot of that is just the fact I have not used any product during this style whatsoever. But give me a moment, I'm still got some cleaning up to do. So we're beginning to smooth the outside section of this hair yet again. I'm gonna pull up and create that volume where I want it. And we're just lightly placing this hair. And from there, I'm going to begin to create a little bit more security here by going inside of the roll with my bobby pins. And I'm beginning to place down inside of there. And this thing is not tight at all. Look at God. There we go. Okay, so we're beginning to place a few more pins in there for just some added security. This is what I love about bobby pins, is they hold things in place much better. That placement that you get from the hairpins, though, makes your pins a lot easier to hide. So I'm just going to continue to create my circular shape here. And I'm liking that flow right there. Okay. So from there you can see the shape of this roll coming right on along here, giving her some height, some fullness. You can see that flow in the front, not too big, but it just gives a nice movement and flow to that style, creating that full roll in the back. So this is a classic French roll. Now, if you want to have some extra smoothness on there, you can layer some hairspray. I've got some maquillage spray here. So I'm just going to lightly dust that hair using the back of the can to kind of smooth out some. I know that probably seems a little weird, but I just prefer to do it that way. It makes it harder for me to mess it up. Spray a little bit and lay with the end of the comb, or just lightly graze. And lightly graze. This way I can gradually build up my product without making the hair look wet. I hate seeing an updo that's meant to look soft and full and effortless look crunchy. So you want to layer your product so it still keeps that soft, dry look, but it gradually gives you the control that you're looking for. So you can kind of see the difference here. I'm going to go ahead and begin to do that same thing here. Just lightly grazing over the surface. Spray. Taking the tail of the comb. Smooth. Okay, let's see here. This is my opportunity to tuck some of those flyaways. Now notice I'm working with such a small amount of hairspray that I'm able to still easily move and maneuver that hair where I want it, okay? That's what hairspray is supposed to be used for. Now notice, you cannot see any pins in there. A well done updo should not have pins showing. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like it's beautiful if it looks like an updo is effortlessly up like this. Now on this side here, we've got a few more flyaways I need to get. So I'm gonna just lightly take my hairspray, graze over the surface. Just like so. Let's see, let's get that flow right there. Now, of course, if they had ears here, unlike my mannequin, you can come up and around the ears. She doesn't have much to hold her in place there. Now, see, that was a little bit too much hairspray. So let me go ahead and take the back of my hand, smooth that a little bit, and then come back with the grips of my hand and smooth that. Because I want to make sure we're never looking like that hair is wet. I'm also going to get the height and the inner portion of that roll a bit. Okay. So of course, as always, let me know what you think in the comment box down below. Anything that you need to know in there will be listed there in terms of tools that you need, all of that. And until next time, take care, God bless, and stay glam. If you like videos like this and you'd like to see more, please be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.